Welcome to the Jerez circuit here in Spain as we are fully prepared and ready to go for the free practice 2 session before qualifying gets underway in around about half an hour's time. The circuit of Jerez is a magical one. You get it wrong here, you know you're in trouble. Welcome to the great race of Spain. Green light is underway. Hopefully our timing screens will become operational shortly. We're having a little bit of a glitch with them as things stand. Isn't it always the way when you come into it because of the system's issues? It is a wet circuit out here at the moment as the green light has just gone on. One timing screen's working, the other isn't. So as you can see, it's sort of a catch-22 situation. Hopefully we'll have it sorted soon and get some live timings. What we might have to do is briefly pop off air in order to sort out OBS. But if that has to happen, we will let you know. It's just a massive pain getting this one sorted. It is a damp track, and off the circuit goes Marc Marquez down at Drysack. So even Marc Marquez having issues in the wet weather conditions that we're experiencing here out on the circuit. Not the best situation then coming in, as Mark will now trail his way out down there. There's a wasp just below my feet here up in the commentary box, which makes it harder for me to move because I've also got a lip mic because I've left the commentary box door open. So that's an oopsie on my part, and I'm going to do several other things. If I get stung, that's going to go down well. I can just see it in the corner of my eye, so it should be okay. It's right near me. There's Marc Marquez, as you can see, just going straight off the circuit, just completely locking up and going right on. So, yeah, not the best situation. Let's listen in, turn in. So he's down braking okay. He just goes straight off. Oh, it's a big wasp. You can't see it's right on the light, but Marc Marquez did manage to get back out onto the circuit, so that is something. The wasp has now stopped on the light. This is, it's one of those days where you just sort of nod and go politely against it. So the circuit is wet. The rainstorm we were expecting yesterday has come in today. Oh, it's gone out the door. Out the door it goes. Right, what's going on with my timing screen? Is there any way I can fix this by maybe a refresh? It keeps doing this for some reason, and only on the OBS broadcast software. It just doesn't seem to... Oh, there we go. A little refresh and it all comes on. So as you can see, wet tyres for everybody out here at the moment. As we get set up, let's head over to the commentary box.
You've got to be... Fabio Quartararo on the Yamaha was on the pole here last year. Oof, a little twitch now for Marc Marquez in that final corner. And if you remember, he hung on to take a podium here. Yeah, Fabio, it's not the easiest place to progress through the field. So it's going to be critical, isn't it, to have it running in these conditions?
Track position is ultra important in MotoGP, and possibly Jerez more important than anywhere. Because it's a small track, there's not huge numbers of overtaking opportunities around here. When I seen the penalty for Jorge Martin, I was thinking, 3 places isn't a disaster, but around here it makes life so difficult. And for the likes of Acosta, maybe this weather could be a blessing. He will have hoped to have improved things overnight, but going through Q1 here this afternoon, can he then step it through to Q2 and deliver a good grid position? It seems like he's got half of the track figured out, but yeah, not in the second part.
Christian Horner here, he was at a dinner we were at last night.
Christian,
got
hello.
tongues wagging. There's a Dorna set up by MotoGP Sports and Entertainment Group, and it invites all the TV broadcasters, all the clients, all the sponsors, everyone goes to this dinner, Jerez, Friday evening in the local sherry bodegas. And
everyone
goes
was
to
mine
it.
by?
Everyone who's anyone goes to it. Sorry,
sorry,
Neil.
okay.
So myself and Steve Day and Nat Quirk were down there as well at that dinner. But really interesting was Christian Horner sat on the table with Carlos and Carmelo Espeleta. The deal's been done with Liberty Media at the moment. It's all going on behind the scenes. And do you know who wasn't there? Anyone from Aprilia, Ducati, KTM, Honda, Yamaha. There were no bigwigs at the dinner last night. It's
And
got
there always
frosty,
is.
and there always is.
Exactly.
None of them were there last night.
Yeah,
Christian
okay.
Horner was,
Wow.
and the FAM left a little bit early, and it was just there's politics going on at the moment. Big politics.
Hey,
Well, just to confirm that as well, the politics game at the moment is that we are expecting news on the rider market to come in any day now, and we are not getting that news at all. So, literally, it seems like there's a massive fight going on between the teams, which is IRTA, and the MSEC, which is MotoGP and Dorna themselves. So, there's a huge sort of battle going on here as to what the future of MotoGP is actually going to look like. So there's a lot in the air about what's going to happen, and we're very excited about it because what it means personally is a lot of high drama and a lot of high intrigue in the commentary. Wet circuit though, which means it will be a wet qualifying. Possibilities as well that this is going to remain for a wet Tissot sprint later on as they come through. A lot of standing water on the run up towards the first corner. That's what we're seeing up here in the commentary box. Miller has done a 150.237. Acosta 155.81. Compare that to yesterday's times. We were in the 1 minute 35s. This is completely out of it. 136, 135s. 149.376 for Marc Marquez. He goes fastest. And there we see the Aprilia of Jorge Martin at turn 13 sort of getting blocked out by the Yamahas coming through of Alex Rins. And then I believe that was Fermin Aldeguer just alongside him as well coming through. So Alex Rins, who we already have learned will not probably be with Yamaha next year. It looks like he could be swapped in for Toprak Razgatliolo. Toprak Razgatliolo's place could be taken by Ayagura. It's sort of all flying around about the possibilities of what we are seeing in the control market. So it's anybody's guess and it's anybody's gain as to what's going to happen in MotoGP this season. We're watching Marc Marquez, who thrives in the wet weather conditions as he comes down into turn 6 at Dry Sack, accelerates up through the kink at 7 and 8 before the 9, 10, 11, 12 quadruple right-hander. And in these conditions, he's sort of balancing right on the knife edge to get it right. You don't want to go too much over. Just control it nicely and have the slide coming through. Acosta 150.168. And now Luca Marini 150.082. Razgatliolo goes up into 5th. And it's good news, actually. We should be talking about the Turkish rider, because I did mention this yesterday. Formula One has announced that it is going back to the Turkish Grand Prix in Istanbul Park between 2027 and 2031 on the calendar. We also are aware that we could be seeing MotoGP back as early as 2027 next season. But definitely it looks like it's going to be on the cards for 2028, with Toprak Razgatliolo being such an important rider in motorcycle racing and in MotoGP. We could be seeing that deal done very soon. There is Christian Horner talking at HRC. That's an interesting little battle, boys.
But it's not, but it's fascinating. Fascinating what's going on. And obviously, you're more business-minded than I am. I'm clueless. Michael, I'm surprised, Michael's not in these meetings. I think if Michael ended up in these meetings, he'd end up with the MotoGP team as well.
No, he'd end up representing all the teams.
Right, but I find it really interesting, and checking Ello in the mix for he's representing the team's interests of IRTA as well, and he's a good businessman, as we know.
Yeah, I think Lucio's the perfect candidate because he's built his team as a private entity. And now he's in there representing the best interests for the independent teams, for the factories, for the sporting aspect, because he's a racer at heart, loves it, lives it, and yeah, let's hope they do find a good agreement that works for everyone.
That's the thing for me. This is all politics, but ultimately the sport is what matters. There's no politics, there's no money, there's nothing without the sport, and I think it's so important that doesn't get forgotten. And sport versus entertainment, that's the era we're going into, isn't it? That the sport needs to stay core, and I think they're finding that out in Formula One at the moment, aren't they? With the new rules, that even with all your entertainment and all your new fans, your heartland, your core, are what are important. The integrity of the sport is so key.
Yeah.
Yellow flag, turn 1, 1 Mir.
Juan Mir, another trip to the kitty litter.
Juan Mir and Gravel are best of friends. That's at Michelin Corner down there. As Christian Horner as well as a bit more.
Brilliant. That's it.
Let's drop some more.
That'll help the grip level.
That's ready.
Yeah, Juan Mir has completely ripped off the side of his bike on the right side. It's flapping around. Debris being flung all over the circuit, including gravel. I would not be surprised if these conditions might have to lead to a red flag. Now, you're not supposed to restart your bike if you've crashed and it's in a dangerous position in terms of it's, you know, flapping around looking bad. So Juan Mir might actually face a penalty here. And it's come off down the back straight towards dry sack. So it's a new rule this season that you are not allowed to restart a bike once you've crashed, and you're not allowed to get back on the bike if it has visible aero damage. And there's the flag, the meatball flag for the number 36 of Juan Mir coming to the pit lane and get a absolute Fortney one from Simon Crafer. Because that is ridiculous. He's crashed it. He's gone down. You can see the zero damage from turn 1. And he's brought it around the entire circuit when the rules clearly say you're not allowed to do that. So someone's not been reading the rule book this year. And again, it'll probably just be, oh, okay, you don't have to do anything. There'll be no penalty for that. You get away with it. That's fine. Everybody gets away with it. Enforce the rules or don't enforce the rules. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the big meatball flags for Juan Mir now getting told in, yeah, Juan, you've got something wrong with your bike. There's Kojo Watambe, the HRC president, talking with Christian Horner down at the HRC garage. Now, Christian's wearing a permanent pass. That's the thing I've just noticed. Well, I'll tell you what, though. Let's just wipe the lip mic. There's one person that I would send to go and talk to Christian Horner, and that's Susie Perry. She's worked in Formula 1. She was the BBC Formula 1 presenter from 2013 to 2015. She had 3 seasons. She interviewed Christian a lot because 2013 was the year of dominance for Sebastian Vettel on his way to his 4th Formula 1 World Championship. So, Susie, you better get down there. As we get these timings continued on now. Marc Marquez still top. The track is slightly starting to dry. It's still very damp. It's damp, let's not get this right, but it's not as standing watery as what we had at the start of the session 15 minutes ago. In certain areas, it is starting to dry out as the bikes go over it and displace the water. And slowly a dry line will start to appear. But we know from fact that all it takes is one more rainstorm around here and then we're really in trouble, because it's that type of situation where it's just going to maintain it. Look, you can see down the pit lane, if you're watching on TV pictures, down the pit lane, down right at the centre, there is a dry line starting to appear, which is very good news for us personally. That's quite a good sign that we could be seeing some interesting running. But yeah, Marc Marquez, top right, Razgatlioglu is in second. So Turkish fans, rejoice. Top right, Razgatlioglu is P2 in wet weather conditions. Stewards have said, yep, Juan Mir's incident to be reviewed after the session, and that's why. Let's hear from the boys.
Certain there will be a penalty there. First of all, Pedro Costa, 3rd in the championship, you know, had this earmarked. Oof.
There's that slippy patch. It was there. Obviously, it's not moved, the slippy patch. It's in Moto 2, so many riders had big moments there, and it's catching the MotoGP riders out as well. Sorry, Gav, go on.
But it could. Someone different could go through Q1 for starters.
Absolutely.
You know, top right second.
I was literally just going to point that out. What do we always say about these conditions? It's a leveler.
Clear leveler.
There we go. Over the slippy patch.
It always makes
it's like ice.
Never see that. It makes me think of Anthony West or Sylvan, or someone actually having an opportunity to show what you're capable of. So yeah, it could be someone different going through from Q1. and then who knows? All bets are off then when you're going qualifying in, and it's not fully wet.
No,
is it? It's not like soaking.
No, it's the tricky greasy conditions when it's that little bit in between before the track's dried. When there's not a lot of spray around, then it feels really greasy.
Just to point out, that's Augusto Fernandez, who lost his number 7 to Top Rack. So we're in there, 47 down there. So he comes back in. He's got a lot of development bits and bats on that bike, but says he's actually, they're still working on getting a base set up for the Yamaha. That's where they are. Yeah, so then you get someone different through, they go higher up the grid, and suddenly what you thought was plain sailing to the flag is a different story.
Let me use this for example. So Pedro, who's always fast round here, didn't have a good afternoon. He's ended up, he'll have to go through, he was 15 fastest yesterday, he'll have to go through Q1. Now, he's good in wet conditions, but like we said, we've seen Top Rack, who's currently second. Quite easily, you could end up not going through, and it's changed your whole Spanish Grand Prix.
Interesting that, Michael, when you showed that bit of footage, the overlay footage of Acosta and Marc Marquez, and it looked like the KTM's turning through 3 and 4. And then the second half of the track, through 11 and 12, both he and Brad Binder saying the same thing, the bike doesn't turn. And through those fast corners, and obviously Marc Marquez, we saw how much they're struggling compared to the Aprilias. The Aprilias are very strong in that last sector. Ayagura was the fastest through there, but the KTM's not turning there, but then in other parts, looks like it was. It's quite interesting.
The 2 very different types of turning. 3 and 4 is turning on the gas as you're rotating all the way to the rear, you're accelerating building speed, whereas through 11 and 12, that's turning on the front end as you enter fast and you're scrubbing off speed on the way in. So naturally, the Aprilia turns on the front through the middle of the bike. The KTM on those pictures shows that it's turning on acceleration, so through the rear end of the machine, from middle to rear.
And that is almost the story of this year so far, isn't it? The Aprilia turning on the front end, able to make the medium tyre last that bit longer, struggling a little bit when they've got the soft tyre in the rear of the bike because it pushes the front. That's where we're at, isn't it? The Ducati's a rear-end turning bike. Is that a fair way to put it?
What happens when you've got a bike that naturally turns in on the front, like Michael's talking about?
Like the Yamaha used to.
You end up where you use less tyre, rear tyre, because when your bike's not turning, you've got end up with more lean angle on exit, and you end up having to accelerate hard to slide the bike to essentially turn the bike.
So you know what I'm going to say to you both now? Why? Okay, what is the Aprilia doing it? What is the aero? What is the gizmo? What's the setting they've got in that bike? Obviously, Aprilia have always made a turning bike. They were the kings of 250s and 125s and, you know, corner speed. That was the very DNA, the essence of an Aprilia. They've married that with an engine.
Those are the words I was about to use, Gav. You said it all there. It is the DNA of the Aprilia. It naturally wants to turn, and it always has done. Now it has additional aids with the aero to help that stability, the tip end, the front end feel, and the stopping performance that they've gained through the engine deceleration. That is the inertia of the engine and the electronics married together, and it gives the riders that confidence, the feeling and understanding of the front that it will naturally turn as they lean it in there, and it will stick under them. So yeah, beautiful position to be in if you're Bezzecchi, if you're Martin, Ayagura and Fernandez. They've got the optimum package, I would suggest, at the moment.
Yeah, you mentioned it out there with Susie before, Neil, that Marc Marquez, that's been his Achilles heel at this circuit always, actually, hasn't it?
He's always struggled,
fast rides.
Yeah, through those fast rides.
Alex is much stronger, isn't he, Alex?
Really fast through there, yeah.
But still the Aprilia feels like it bit quicker.
It turns better through there, so the Aprilia is the bike you'd want through turns 11 and 12, those really fast ones.
Set up that final corner.
Yeah.
It's set up beautifully, isn't it?
It is.
Keep an eye on Pedro Acosta's on a fast lap at the moment. He's gone out with the medium rear wet tyre. And he's currently half a second faster than anyone halfway round. Just interesting, obviously, with qualifying coming up next.
Yeah, I feel like the weather, this wet qualifying, is going to make it even more interesting for the race later today. It is hard on the riders, though. They've got all this pressure on them. They're all complaining it's too much. They've got to go. Do you know what they've got to do? They've got to do qualifying today and race. I'll just send an invoice in for another mil. Yeah, it's tough putting into. Riders complaining, never.
You could never do 2 races in a day, Neil.
No.
Pedro Costas has gone fastest overall on a 1:48 on the board, so we are getting faster out here. We've just, by the way, I'm going to show you this now because, well, it's quite cool actually. You know, we have this screen, which is our main commentary monitor. So when me and Megan are in the commentary box, it's, you know, me and Megan and the driver track and all that lot. But when I'm trackside, quite often we don't have that ability or the ability to bring guests in. Well, we are going to have more guests joining the MotoGP commentary box. So we've got a brand new screen that we're going to use during the races where we do have guests. So this will only be for the race. So it'll be me and Megan, the guest just below us, the rider track at the side, race control messages will be where those numbers are at the bottom. And then here we'll have the usual running order plus the gap between each rider. So this will be for the race where we have a guest on in the commentary box. Do you like it? So this will be a race monitor where we have guests in the commentary box. But for every other session where it's just me and Megan, it'll be the usual one. Is that good? I like to get fan feedback because this is your watch along. So, yeah, when we have guests on, including journalists, riders, you know, everybody, that's the screen we'll be using. So if you like it, let me know. But obviously the main commentary screen will be this one. I'll show it to you once again. That is the monitor. So it'll be me, guest, tracker, messages, timing tower. And then we'll have an information ticker running along the bottom where the JB Motorsports is. Is it good? Hope so. As we'll switch back up now to the booth. Acosta still top then. 1:48.862. Marc Marquez still looking quick as well in P2. Top right, Razgatlioglu third. Jorge Martin in fourth. Marco Bezzecchi fifth. Jack Miller sixth. Franco Morbidelli P7. Juan Mir, Alex Marquez, Luca Marini, the top 10. Remember, this is a free practice session, so not much going on. Tig says, love it, looks great. Brilliant, thank you very much. By the way, qualifying will be here on JB Sports, but the Tissot Sprint and the MotoGP Grand Prix will be live on the main JB Motorsports YouTube channel. It's the first race of the year that we get to go do on the main channel. And then Moto 2 and Moto 3, that'll be on JB Motorsports 2. There is a reason why we're flicking around the channels this weekend as well. Just to make sure that everything's good as we start other series on other channels as well that we need to get maximum publicity for. So, yeah, we're just sort of flying around the MotoGP coverage. But the beauty thing with YouTube now is we can just collaborate the video afterwards so that everybody still sees it across every channel. So, yeah, it's working well. Luca Marini goes up into 9th position, 1:49.956. So you said about, yes, Plug says the Jerez test on Monday, yes. That's going to be good. Acosta, 1:48.862. He's still top of the board. There's the Red Bull KTM. I'm surprised, actually, that Christian Horner isn't down at the Red Bull KTM garage. You know, he's still got links to Red Bull, even though he's no longer directly working for them. He still has got a little advantage on the front, so I'm surprised he's not there. We shall see. Here comes top right Razgatlioglu then, up in 4th position, over the line. And Top Rack stays 4th, but 9/10 off of Acosta's time. But he's still within 4/10 of Marc Marquez's time, so that's a very decent run. Of course, Top Rack coming for the first time on a MotoGP back to a track he actually knows. This is where he clinched his 3rd World Superbike title last year, yeah, alongside Nicolo Bulega in that famous weekend battle. Here comes Marc Marquez out of the last corner. Powers up towards the line. 7/10 down at the moment with a used medium front wet tyre and a used soft rear tyre of wets. He goes 2nd fastest to 1:49.373. He's still half a second away to that of Pedro Acosta at the moment. Oh, hello. That's not good. That's Alex Marquez being given the hand up by Jorge Martin and our championship leader Marco Bezzecchi. Neither of the Aprilias are happy. They've got a yellow flag. Sector 4, and it's Firmin Aldeguer at the last corner. Has dropped the bike. Now, don't do what Martin did yesterday and run back into the pit lane. Martin, by the way, is responsible for riding on the slow line. He's got a 3-place grid penalty for tomorrow's Grand Prix. You don't serve them in the Tissot Sprint. It's just for the Grand Prix itself. So he turns in and he's just dropped the front in the right conditions. Such a simple mistake. It's not even really his fault. It's a damp line. Only one racing line's been dried out, and then the rest of it goes, whoop, off you go. As you try and follow it in. Frecker has started, by the way, or Freck, not Frecker. Freck has started on the main JBMotorsports YouTube channel. The first round of the championship. This weekend's on JB Motorsports, then it'll move to JB Motorsports 2. Right, let's take a look then. This is the previous lap. Alex Marquez having a go with Marco Bezzecchi, and Bezzecchi not happy with Alex Marquez at all out there. He's gesticulating everything. And look, and there we go, look, Bezzecchi throwing his hand up as well, going, what on earth are you doing? Alex saying, well, it's not my fault, I'm on lap 2 here. So no real apologies, just some general frustrations between them all at the moment. Here's Top Rack Razgatlioglu. His best lap was on that 5 of 10, a 1:49.762. He's 9/10 of a second up. And this is Top Rack in front of his teammate Jack Miller. Oh, and Top Rack dropped it, and Top Rack saved it. Oh boy! At turn 13, Top Rack Razgatlioglu, the front dips away from him. He holds it down throughout the tight hairpin left, and he literally kicks it back up on his left knee, and the bike shoots back up. Now that is a superior skill of saving the bike. Well done, Top Rack Razgatlioglu. That was a chef's kiss save. And look, even Danny Pedrosa doesn't know how he's done that. That is fantastic. That is the skill that we've been looking forward to seeing Top Rack doing. Top Rack, a world champion in superbikes, proving that he can adapt to MotoGP technology. That was amazing. Even the harshest critics of Top Rack have to say that was amazing. Drops it and saves it. That is brilliant.
Didn't like that. Then you feel it, like he'll feel invincible now. He'll be so pumped up.
Love it. I love it.
Amazing.
Wow, that was something else.
Amazing, that one.
Yeah, but you could have imagined, couldn't you? Just going back to I was thinking before how much of a Red Bull man Top Rack is. If you have a Martin and
whole career,
Top Rack,
hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All of them, it's coming through the rookies, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then he had it. Obviously, he's got massive support from Red Bull Turkey.
That was unbelievable.
That's phenomenal.
When he was showing it in slow-mo, I'm thinking, well, he obviously ain't going to save this because he's crashed.
White lines are looking a little bit treacherous. Saw Ethan Guevara get onto one in Moto 2 before.
Makes you wonder if that's the is it the soft overheating now, do you think, Michael?
Possibly,
the soft wet
yeah.
is now it's like that, and that's when you get that horrible greasy sensation.
It's certainly designed to work with
Yeah, the
more
flag,
water on the
6-3.
track. And, yeah, you can see there's a tiniest little bit of spray, but in general it is clearing into that.
Is that
greasy
Acosta?
rails. It's crashed it.
No, it's Binder. It's Binder.
He had the
Brad
problem
Binder's down.
here. Oh, it's Brad.
Binder's down, yeah.
It's usually a fast one.
Aspar corner, yeah, that's where Marc Marquez crashed out last year, if you remember. Then we get into the problem of the weepers.
Start turn 8.
Remember we talked about it a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh, big roll for Brad through there, and he's so fast.
And he stands back up quite quickly though. Right, Josh, are you surprised by the Igua news? Slightly, considering that Trackhouse have sort of been developing very quickly. They have an Aprilia bike, let's not forget, and Trackhouse have actually had decent qualifying and decent results. So I'm surprised that I didn't want to give it another year, because I really think Trackhouse are going to be race winners. I really do. But if a seat's opened up at Yamaha, then yeah. But I don't see how swapping a race-winning Aprilia to a terrible Yamaha is such a good idea. Especially if we're hearing that Fabio Quartararo might also leave. There's so many rider market moves that are going on this year. We don't know what's going to happen next. Also, do you think Maverick Vinales' MotoGP could be at risk, especially with him getting injuries after injuries so late? I think the only reason he's not here because he's having surgery, of course, because his shoulder practically was hanging off the bone. But if that was sorted out, I think he just needs to take a bit of time, get fully healed, and then he should be okay. But with Vinales, I think it's a missed opportunity, really. He keeps moving teams because he doesn't get along with people, and then, you know, it doesn't work out. And I mean, look at Aprilia. and then also annoying Yamaha just as they started to go well with revving the bike. I don't know, Vinales strikes me as a rider who he's very Fernando Alonso-esque, isn't he? Maybe it's the Spanish nature of it, I don't know. The feistiness to want to succeed and need to succeed. I can understand it, but yeah. I think Top Rack finally found this channel. Hi, yes, Sean. Hello, Sean. Yeah. JB Sports. So you've got JB Motorsports, JB Motorsports 2, JB Sports, and JB Esports, which is under the title of JB E-Simulation. Right, end of the session then. And if you're watching live, you'll be redirected to the next session. If I can do redirects on this channel. I'm not actually sure if I can or not. Oh, I can't. Oh, that's great. Tell you what I'll do. I'll post the link in the old chat in the chat. I'll do an old-fashioned way, shall I? That's an annoying method. Yeah, Pedro Acosta's topped the session. Yellow flag sector 2 for practice start, so don't worry about that. Looking so good so far. So I'll pop the link in the chat here for the next session. Because, you know, it's impossible to do things. More yellow flags coming out for practice starts. So the link in the chat, that is for the qualifying stream, which is coming up shortly. There you can see Marc Marquez doing a little bit of a wheelie off the start line. So Pedro Acosta, 1:48.862. He's top for Marc Marquez second, Johan Zarco third, Marco Bezzecchi in fourth, Jorge Martin fifth, Top Right Razgat Liolu in sixth, Alex Marquez seventh. Jack Miller goes in 8th position, 9th on the board for Ralph Fernandez, 10th Franco Morbidelli, 11th Juan Mir, 12th Luca Marini, from Augusto Fernandez, Fabio Di Gianantonio, Brad Binder, Fabio Quadraro, Pecco Bagnaia, Ferdinand Aguirre, Diego Moreira, Enea Bashini, Ayagura coming in, Alex Rins and Lorenzo Salvadori. Next stream is up, and that's the qualifying one. The link in the chat will redirect you there. We are getting all set for the action from qualifying for the MotoGP Spanish Grand Prix coming up next.